Hello and welcome to another edition of the Monkey Tail podcast. I am your host, Bruno Pinto, and with me as ever, I have my friend slash co-host, Mr. Marius Dunkley. I have Mr. Ben Jenkins.
Hi.
And Mr. Yellowface, Adam. How's it going, Adam? Yeah.
Yay, I'm fine. Yellowface, yay.
We lost. Adam has lost his camera somewhere, and he's coming through us by his phone. But it sounds okay, which is fantastic. So that's great. So this is our first podcast where we actually live streaming. We're live streaming on my obviously network this time, but next time we'll be doing it on the Monkey Tail networks, which is Monkey Tail UK on all the good sites. You know, your Mixers, your Twitches, your D Lives, and your YouTubes. So that's where you can find us next time. There'll be a link for it on the podcast as well and on our YouTube. Let's start as always with a question, if that's okay, guys. We got a question from Craig, aka Ivanzo. His question is relating to games releasing on current gen and then again on next gen. What's our thoughts on it all? And he says he understands it, but at the same time he annoys him because with things like multiplayer especially, it splits the player base a bit, and he wants to see some cross-play going forward. So it's a bit of a three-parter. So let's start with games releasing on current gen and then next gen. What do you guys think about that? Obviously, I guess GTA 5 is an example of it when it came out at the end of the Xbox, was the 360 era, and then again on the new Xbox.
I think it's pretty much inevitable that that's going to happen. Now, like games, especially something using that example, something is like GTA costs so much money to limit their base by only releasing it on a new console. It doesn't make business sense. So it makes sense, and I think obviously this is going to be happening a lot in the near future. And for me, it's like I'm glad they are adopting that approach because I don't think they're going in for consoles on day one. So being able to play all the good stuff on my existing console is better for me.
I think with something like the Xbox is less of an issue because I believe that on the Xbox, if you buy the game on for Xbox One, it's available as well on the other one. I think.
I don't think that's all games.
Not all games. Certainly with the Game Pass games, you golden, you know. But I don't know if PlayStation are going to do something similar in relation to the crossplay. I believe that certainly with the Xbox and I think with the PS4 as well, you'll be able to play crossplay between generations as well. Again, it's on a game per game basis. Not every game is gonna allow that. And before I let Ben and Adam speak, 1 second, we got Martin here on the chat asking, is Marius hiding behind the mic? I believe he is, yeah. He's trying his best just to hide behind the mic as much as he can.
I think you want to see my beautiful face.
I think they want to see your beautiful face. That's what it is. Sorry, Ben, what's your thoughts?
I don't really think that the split in the gap thing, it doesn't, like, let's say you're playing a multiplayer game with 64 players and you're playing on the PS4. That map's going to be played with 64 PS4 players. It doesn't matter if they're there on the PS4 or PS5. Okay, yes, your mates might be on different consoles up and down, so you might not be able to play with your mates, but there's always going to be that crossover period. So it's not necessarily a problem immediately. I'd say maybe in a year, 2 years, and you're still playing on the PS4, then yes, that's when you start worrying about splitting the player base. By that point, it would have been time to upgrade anyway.
It is a problem though because if I'm a console player and you're a console player and you get the new PlayStation or the new Xbox and I don't and I cannot play with you, that is a problem. Surely, you know. I know he's saying it's and that not to mention that he's saying that okay, it's only filled with PS4 players and the other one is only filled with PS5 players. But if there's 10,000 players going and each platform only gets 5,000, then to get a match, that's fewer.
Still going to get to play a multiplayer game.
No, really, because you have more waiting times. There's fewer players on, so you're going to wait more for a game. It can be an issue, but I think
I suppose. I mean, I guess for me, I don't care because I don't play multiplayer games. So I guess that's my take on it, is because I don't have that worry about, I'm not going to be able to play with you guys, because it doesn't affect me. So I guess that's a selfish answer, but I don't understand the massive hoo-ha about it. It's always going to happen. People are going to upgrade anyway. It's just, I guess move with the times. And I guess I appreciate that it's not always financially viable to do that straight away and immediately. And I don't think the jump to the next gen is going to be that, right, we need to get on to the next console straight away as quickly. I think the transition is going to be a lot longer. There is going to be the cross-platform play and stuff like that. And I think overall, once the new ones get out, people are going to want the new shinies anyway, so it's not going to really matter. And give it a year, and it won't even be a discussion anymore.
Okay, no, I agree. What do you think, Adam, yourself?
I think it's just one of those things. People have different funds available and more eager or more available to upgrade. And if they upgrade and their mates don't, well, they won't be able to play. It's a shame. It's getting better. There's more cross-platform working. So, in the future, it'll get better, I think. But it's still a problem now, I think. But, just live with it. Everybody upgrades, all their mates upgrade at the same time, or you don't. If you don't upgrade, you can't play together. That's life.
That is life.
Indeed.
Thanks for the catch there, Martin. I spotted it as well. So the title still said Minecraft RTX, because with all the kerfuffle, I forgot to change the titles. And hello to Just Kota on Mixer.
Everyone's left.
How's it
doing Minecraft?
Yeah, okay, so when I'm talking to the chat, maybe you don't talk over me, that's fucking awesome. Yeah, that'll be great. Okay, so yeah, thanks for popping in, Just Kota. Anyway, so let's move on to the video game news. So Marius, you want to take that over with the Xbox announcements, please?
Well, Inside Xbox have just done a digital show with and sort of either or shown some trailers for games. So first up was the Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which I think was announced beforehand, but they played a second trailer on it. Assassin's Creed with Vikings in England.
What's not to like? Yes, I've seen the trailers, and you're right. It had been announced already before, and I'm super excited for it because I've recently played Odyssey, and I fucking loved it. I just thought it was great. Another one which I really liked is the Bright Memory Infinite. The graphics on it looked ridiculous with all it looked like ray tracing was in play there as well, and all the reflections and the light effects, and it just looked great. But Ben, was there any particular game you liked from the lineup yourself?
No, not really. No, nothing captured me other than that Scorn one, the Alien one. Everything looks pretty, but it's going to be a see it on the TV before I care type scenario. And no is the answer.
Right. So Martin is saying on chat that Marius' chair looks like it's been stolen from an airplane. I think so. I've never noticed that before, but now that I look at it, it does look like of course a first class airplane, but an airplane nonetheless. I like it. I like it a lot. Some other games got announced. Call of the Sea looked pretty cool. The 1930s. First person really cool adventure game looked great. I also, there was Dirt 5 and Madden, but one that caught my eye, which I thought it wouldn't, was Scarlet Nexus, that anime Devil May Cry style. You said it right, Nier Automata. You said that before, Cass. It looked like that, but with the cool anime aesthetics and all the flowers growing off people. That just looked fucking awesome as well.
You had a look at Vampire the Masquerade, Bloodlines 2. I thought that was really cool. So I've missed the first one, but I'm tempted to go and have a go at the first one. Actually, I thought that looked really cool.
Yes,
I think it didn't exactly blow me away as a way to sell on the next generation. As we've just spoken about, a lot of these, well, all of these, I think are going to be cross-generational games, and I think you can see that the leap is not huge. They all look prettier than they do now, but Nothing there absolutely blew my socks off in terms of what the next gen can do graphically, to be honest with you.
I mean, I don't know. I think certainly with the Bright Memory, that looked like a true next gen game in terms of the graphical prowess. But I hear what you're saying. A lot of these games are available in other platforms, and it was obviously indeed on the PC. But that's what Microsoft are doing anyway. They're releasing these games on other platforms, and they just give you all the. Sorry, Adam, are you okay, man? Are you good?
I'm fine. Sorry, I just moved. The dog was at the door trying to get in. How live is this? I'm sorry.
Super live. We're live from Adam's house, and his dog is trying to get in. I also like the. It wouldn't be a Monkey Tail podcast without Adam trying to ruin the sound. Would it? I also really like the look of Second Extinction, that game from Avalanche Studios. It was like Turok meets the post-apocalyptic. Like Mad Max or something. It looked quite interesting actually.
It looks like, have you ever played Serious Sam?
Yeah.
Did you ever play Serious Sam? It's just hordes of enemies. It looks very much like that for the new age, which looks entertaining.
Yeah,
I
overall
could
it
play
looked
that.
exciting to me, but it did have explodey dinosaurs. So what's not to like about exploding dinosaurs?
Indeed.
We do like the exploded dinosaurs. We got a few more people on chat. So Ward is saying hi, and Martin is saying to tell Adam where the mute button is. I don't think he knows what the mute button is. But we love you really. We love you really, Adam. You are fantastic. There was a few other games announced, but most of them were cross-platform, as we say. Should we move on to the playlist, or do we have any other game news you want to talk about?
It's been pretty slow for news, hasn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
not much.
A couple of things that I'm sort of excited about. I'll just touch on briefly. That Vader Immortal, the Oculus VR exclusive, is coming to PSVR, which I'm excited about because I do want to play that. That looks and sounds cool.
Yeah.
And the other stupid thing that nobody hosting the podcast will give a shit about is RoboCop is one of the new characters coming to Mortal Kombat 11, which RoboCop's amazing. That is all.
That does sound pretty cool.
Yeah, that is awesome. To be fair, awesome. Right, so we'll move on to the playlist. Have you been playing anything new, Marius, yourself?
I have. I've been playing a little game called Streets of Rage 4.
And what do you think about it?
Yeah, this game is made for me. I've obviously on record as loving Streets of Rage. I mean, I think the work they've done with the visuals is really good. They've done a good job of upgrading that to like the cartoony visuals work really well. I think the animation there is amazing. The music is fucking phenomenal. I mean, I've always loved the Streets of Rage music, but they've done an excellent job of updating the music and modernizing it, but it's still having that real Streets of Rage feel to it. I thought that was amazing. I think they've done some good work in sort of updating some of the mechanics. The sort of combo system it has been added to a bit. There's more of a combo system in there. Like you can launch enemies now and juggle them. I think the catching weapons is a great new addition as well. You can throw something at an enemy, and when it bounces off, you can catch it back. Yeah, I absolutely love it. I think it's brilliant. I'm still playing it. I think my only real complaint is that the last level / boss was a bit too easy. Normally that's nails and takes several attempts, but my recollection of Streets of Rage, I felt the ending was a bit too easy for me. I would have liked a little bit more toughness, but I absolutely love that game. Did any of you guys play it?
I played the first 2 or 3 levels. I think I certainly went to. I think I passed the commissioner boss fight in the police station. In fact, I quite like that the whole level, starting on the prison, then you have the prison guards versus the police are fighting the prison guards, but also fighting you, and quite like that dynamic. I don't think that was ever done on Streets of Rage before.
It's a good one later on where you start the level in a sauna, and so the floor's all slippery, so like you slide around.
Oh wow, that does sound cool. But the thing to me that I liked the most, funny enough, was the music. I thought they absolutely nailed it. The sound. I just was as I was playing, I just kept nodding my head like, yeah, this is cool. Like the sound was awesome. The combos are cool. I was playing on normal, and I think that the game is a bit hard, or maybe I just sucking it. One of the two. So I did think the game was hard, which is good. They captured that as well, because it has that 90s difficulty to it. It hasn't got that. It's not as easy as modern games can be. But it's one of those games I kind of want to play with somebody else, because you need to have somebody else playing with you at the same time.
I think that's a shoe in for the 24-hour.
Yes. Definitely.
Does it have multiplayer couch co-op online or?
Yes is the answer.
It's got both.
It does, and actually, another thing it does, and I was trying to sort it out, but I couldn't get it to work properly. I can stream the game on Mixer, and then anyone watching can grab a controller and jump in and play with me. Straight from Mixer, which is quite cool. So I might give that a go at some point and try and do a bit of a playthrough where viewers are jumping in to play, and it'll be an awful experience. It will be fun at the same time. It'll be a lot of punching each other, of course, and robbing chickens when you like at 90% health and that type of stuff. But yes. No, I was very impressed by it. So you finished it already, Marius. Have you finished it just with one character, or have you tried the different?
Yeah, I'm playing through with the second. Again, it's one of those games that I'm now I've done it. I'm just hopping in when I've got 10 minutes spare and one level here and there. So I suspect that'll be on my. Although I probably won't talk about it again on the podcast, because I think I've probably said all there is to say about it. But yeah, that's probably going to be on my playlist for quite some time.
No, it's I'm sure it will be. You've been excited for this game for a long time, haven't you? And it was free on Game Pass as well. How good is that?
Game Pass entry. Yeah, I have been excited about it, and it lived up to expectations, because it definitely could have gone either way. I think this one, it could have destroyed my hopes and dreams, but it hasn't. It's embraced them.
So the ultimate question, and obviously you've played it on Game Pass, but will you purchase it?
Why would I bother?
So it's that argument of, are they losing? Obviously they're not losing money, but have you liked it enough to want to purchase it further on? Would you have bought it and been happy with the 20-30 quid purchase without the Game Pass access?
I would have been happy with 15-20 quid for Streets of Rage 4. And maybe further down the line, if it comes off Game Pass and I'm still playing it, then
you'll decide then, I suppose. Yeah.
So what Game Pass does quite well is they tell you what games are leaving the service, and they also give you a discount, like normally 25% off to buy the game and keep it. And I certainly haven't bought any game that was leaving yet, because I haven't had one that I thought, oh, I really want that. But that obviously that was leaving. But I understand that the retention numbers are quite high, so that's why companies are quite happy to put games on Game Pass, and because a lot of people do keep them. Or I really like that, so I'm gonna keep it. And it may well be that in a year from now it's leaving Game Pass, and they say to Marius, do you want to keep it for £10? And he might go like, yeah, sure, why not? So it's one of those. And he might as well go like, you know what, I played enough, I got my money's worth of it, and I'm not going to do it. It's a decision to make, I guess, close to the time. But that's all on the developer to make a game that you want to keep as well. Because if there's a game which you finish and you don't want to play again, what's the point on playing it again? I have been playing Gears Tactics, another Game Pass game. This is sponsored by Game Pass today. This podcast. Looking at the playlist, other than one or two, it looks like it's all Game Pass actually. So Gears Tactics is essentially Gears of War meets XCOM. In fact, it's an XCOM clone. If you guys played XCOM before?
Yes, yeah, big fan of XCOM.
Are you a fan of? Also, have you looked at Gears Tactics at all, or is this the first time you're hearing about it?
No, I'm aware of it. I will get round to it at some point.
At some point,
when I play my Xbox PC, yeah. But no, it does look cool. I'm interested to hear what you say about it, because it does tick the right boxes for me.
So it does all of the things of an XCOM. So you have the isometric view, you have the fog of war, so you cannot see it. You can only see certain parts of the map, and as you walk through the map, you uncover more of it. But obviously in the Gears universe, and you have your army of Gears. You start with like 2, and then you start hiring more enemies. That's things like permadeath. So if your character dies, you lose them, like in XCOM. But there's characters which are heroes. So certain characters which are heroes and are story specific, you cannot lose them. So if you lose them in the game the mission will restart, and you have to try again from the beginning right. of the mission. It won't let you lose certain characters, because like for instance, Coltrane is in there, like one of the characters from the main series. So then you cannot kill off a main character, of course. So, yeah. But what I was wondering was, are they going to get the active reload, well on an XCOM type? And they have. So certain characters have perks. So if you manage to get a hit, like let's say you down an enemy with a certain perk, you might get an active reload. Like you might reload the weapon with an active reload bonus, so that the next 3 shots are gonna do 24% more damage. So he has all of that. So they managed to capture a lot of the Gears thing. So the holes that come, the immersion holes that come from the ground, they got that right as well. So whenever they come out, you have to leave them open for 1 turn, but then any character which is close enough can throw a frag inside and just close the immersion hole. The boss battles, I think they really managed to capture the Gears essence and put it into an XCOM style game. Maris obviously doesn't like XCOM style games, but if you like XCOM style games and you like Gears, this is definitely the game for you.
What would stop me from playing XCOM 2 over Gears of War Tactics? Is it just literally XCOM with a Gears of War skin? Or are they doing anything particularly new that XCOM hasn't done in an isometric tactical game? That would be ultimately the thing that wins me over.
I don't play. I played a bit of XCOM, so I wouldn't. I don't know enough about XCOM to tell you what are the big differences. But I can tell you what I like about it, and it's the story. I like the story. I've always liked Gears stories, and this one is good. So. I don't know how good the XCOM story is, but because any character can die in XCOM, I would imagine that there's no character specific.
XCOM's very difficult. Like you're saving the planet from invading aliens, and it gets progressively harder if you're not keeping up with research and everything.
But this one,
there is a story, but
this one has a proper story. So this one has a proper story going. So and it looks gorgeous as well. So I don't know. Looking at XCOM and look at this looks better than XCOM in terms of how it looks.
Okay.
So it may well be just an XCOM with a Gears skin. But what's wrong about that?
Oh no, nothing. It's been on my radar. I will get around to playing it. It is my sort of thing, but I'm just curious if it is anything different other than XCOM with Gears skin.
Yeah,
but either way, it does sound cool.
Yes. So yeah, I've been live streaming that anyway. So if you want to have a look at how it looks, you can just go and look at one of my past streams. Just have a quick look at how it looks. It looks. It's quite. I think it's fun. I certainly do.
Nice.
Adam, you still here with us? Is your dog okay? Hello.
He's muted. Has he remembered that he's muted himself?
Yeah, I've got.
Oh, he's back. He's back again. He's back again. You've been playing The Long Dark, right?
Oh yes.
That was about
Excellent game. Yeah, right. It's a survival game set in the wilds of northern Canada. So it's very much winter. You crash in a plane, you and your ex-missus, and you get separated. Yeah, and you have to search and do all sorts of missions, etc. You have the standard health bar, but you also have a warmth bar, a hunger bar, and a thirst bar. So you have to eat and stay warm and drink. And if any of those get a bit low, you go all wobbly and you start dying. It's very, very good. You have to navigate around and find things. You come across a few other people, which is quite useful. Some of them are very useful. Some of them are just very confusing. Everywhere's walking. You don't have any sort of vehicles. You come across vehicles, but none of them are working. So everywhere you're walking in, you walk for miles. Like Red Dead Redemption, didn't care about your time. You just have to walk. It's an excellent game, and I thought that would really wind me up, but I love it. And sometimes you end up going down the same path, but something's changed. You can't get through somewhere that you could get through before, and you've got to sort out how to get there. And it's a very, very good game. I'd certainly recommend it. There's various, you have to eat, so you find snacks in cabins and stuff, but you have to kill a few wildlife. So you get rabbits and wolves and deers, and then there's the bear. Now the bear, I thought when I heard about the bear, I thought it was going to be the size of a 4x4. Oh no, it's the size of a blooming transit van. It's absolutely massive, and it's very very nasty. Let's put it like that. I've just met the bear for the third time, and I don't know if I'm going to survive. It's yeah, it's very, very good. If you like this sort of game, very, very well worth playing. But much better than I thought it was going to be. I can't play anything else at the moment. That's why there's only one thing on my list. I don't know how many hours I put into it, but very, very good. Simple little things. It's all just drawings. It's not animated and anything, but the sound effects are good, and you're tramping through the snow. When you walk up a hill, you get slower, and when you walk down a hill, you get quicker, and it's just very, very cleverly done. Few jokes and stuff in it.
Open world-ish, or is it a linear path?
No,
you say you're backtracking through certain areas, but is it like in one area?
I think I've come across 3 different areas so far, and you do missions and side missions, and you end up going back onto an area that you did before. But like how you came from area 1 to area B, you go back to go that way, and then it's blocked, and you think, oh, so you've got to figure out how to get back to the other area. It's very, very good. Yeah,
I've heard this mentioned before, and it seems like up my street sort of game. So.
I played this game before. This is a while ago. I played it, so I would like to go back to it. But this is the game I nearly killed Marius on the podcast because that's when I mispronounced the word fatigue. If you remember, this is the one. This is the game because obviously there's also the fatigue meter as well. What you playing it on the Xbox? Are you, Adam?
Yeah, on the Xbox. Yeah. So it's the only thing I can play games on really, apart from my phone. But like it's silly things like on ice. You're walking across snow, and you can't go up the big hills. You've got to go round the hills because you just physically can't walk up them. So you're walking across ice, and the first few times you come across ice, oh, I can walk on ice. Yeah, no problem at all. And then you're halfway through across a lake, and then the ice starts cracking. So like, and if you do end up in the water, and I have ended a couple of times, you start getting hypothermia. So you've seriously got to find somewhere you can build a fire and get some fuel. And there's you're carrying a backpack, so you just can't pick up everything you see. You've got to be careful what you pick up and what you carry. So you need a bit of food and maybe a bit of fuel if you've got room. And it's just very good, very, very good.
I definitely want to try it again. I did the chat is Martin saying on chat, and I did pick up that as well. You said area 1 to area B, so I mean it's area 1 to surely it's either A to B or 1 to 2. You cannot go from letters to numbers, man.
Not necessarily. You might have area 1, 2, 3, 4, and A, B, C, D, and.
I did catch it as well, but I thought it was funny. And what's the aim of the game other than survive? Is it to get out again? Or to find your?
You've got to find your partner, and you so far I haven't found her. But you see, as it's loading, you get the sort of game clips and trips and clues about what to do things, and then you get some artists' pictures of obviously what's going to happen again. So you see you with her later on. But I don't know when I'm going to find her and stuff. But I'm going around trying to get radios working and killing bears and stuff at the moment. It's very good.
Is this another Game Pass game as well?
Oh yes, come on, you know me. Yes, it is.
This is 3 for 3 we're in. Let's see if we can. It won't be 3 for. It won't be a full house, unfortunately. Let's go to Ben. He's been quiet for a bit. Ben, you've been playing Final Fantasy VII Remake. Tell us about it. You finished it.
Played, finished, and loved mostly every minute.
And delivered to me as well.
And delivered to you, yes. So obviously, I won't talk in too much detail. I don't want to spoil anything for you. I don't want to ruin it. But I really enjoyed it. I played it through in a couple of sittings in the end. I've loved what they've done with the existing story. I love what they've done with the existing characters and how they've fleshed them out. Overall, some of the new stuff I'm not a big fan of.
Like what?
I would have preferred. So there's a couple of new characters that I find irritating, irrelevant.
What's the name?
Sorry.
What are the character names? The ones you don't like?
The new ones, completely new ones that you haven't met yet.
Oh, I haven't met them. I thought you were talking about
so
the first two guys at the beginning, because they've been in every single Final Fantasy.
The name's Biggs, Wedge.
Yeah.
Yes. But no. Obviously, so the existing characters, Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse, the way that they fleshed that out is fantastic. It's really, really good. But they've added some completely new characters.
Okay. Yeah.
And some of that I'm not a big fan of. So, in terms of sort of my review of the remake, my preference would have been stick to the original story in the way it was, with the updated graphics. I would have been quite happy if they'd done the whole game and added no new stuff, but in the aesthetic of fleshed out Midgar. And I know that's so, it would make sense when you've played through it, because obviously the first 2-3 hours of the original is Midgar, and they've managed to pack that into 30 odd hours now.
You wanted a proper remake. You wanted the remake just from beginning to end with pretty graphics.
Potentially, yeah, but as I was playing through it, I was like, actually, no, I understand why this character is here. I understand why they've done it this way. And by the end of it, I was like, actually, no, all of the new stuff is it's okay. I'm okay with it. As I say, my preference, if I was remaking it, I would have said, right, we're going to basically do the original game with no new stuff, just fancy graphics, maybe flesh out the bits that you already know, but we're not going to put anything brand spanking new in. But having said that, I say by the end of the game, I was like, no, actually, it's put together really concisely. It fits. It explains lots of little bits that you might not have, if you've not played the original, you're not going to necessarily get. But little references to the Gold Saucer and obviously Wutai and things that you don't know about unless you played the original. Some things they bring in early, and I'm like, well, I could have done with waiting until that actually happened in the real game or the original game to know. But then again, 10 hours later, I'm like, I understand why they've introduced that character there, or they've said that thing there. So yeah, on the whole, I've really, really enjoyed it. Definitely a lot of nostalgia for me. They put a lot of time and care into the environments. Silly little things like when you drop into the sewers after Don Corneo's mansion. Just the layout of that room in the original, it's the same. Obviously in the remake, and it's just a little right-angled room, but for me that's a memory of I remember exploring. There's an item in that particular box there, and it's still there in this new one. So it's little things like that I really, really appreciated.
What about I know they're not called Guardian Forces on Final Fantasy 7. Are they called Materia or something? Or summons? Summons, that's the one.
Just summons. So that is a material that you equip. And you use your ATB, which you fill up by attacking, to summon. And then all of your characters can control that summon. Summons have 1 or 2 abilities that use either 1 or 2 bars of ATB. They stay for a certain amount of time, and then they do their sort of finishing move and bugger off. They look brilliant. There's only there's a handful of summons in the remake. Obviously, I think in the original you didn't actually get your first one until you left.
That's right. Yeah. You didn't,
So I think the first one was at the Chocobo farm, which was obviously on your way after Calm.
Oh, are there Chocobos on this one?
But, there are Chocobos. They are obviously about. They integrate them into sort of a fast travel-ish system a bit later in the game. It's fine. I mean, I did use it a few times just because by that point I was actually annoyed with the backtracking through these areas that they've actually put into the game to make. Obviously, it might be 2 or 3 screens in the original, but they've now made this into 3 or 4 areas that you're doing stuff along the way, and then you get to the end and you've got to track back. and there's a bit of needless tracking back and forwards. So yeah, that's the Chocolate Rose. They integrate Moogles just about as well. So Moogles are there in one form or another. And it's really, really good. I mean, the thought and care that's gone into, right, this is the original. What are the things that people remember from the original? And they might be tiny, minuscule little things, but they've made it into like a small chapter or half a chapter, or it might even be a note on a door or something like that. But the fact that it's there really, really, appealed to me as the nostalgic 12-year-old playing the original. And I say, by the end of it, the new stuff, I'm like, actually, it's all right as well. And I'm really, really looking forward to obviously how they continue it. But I say, I don't want to speak too much until you've played it, and then perhaps we can have a bit of a deeper discussion about the new stuff, the old stuff. But on the whole, I very, very much enjoyed it. It looks wonderful. The combat's fantastic. I really enjoy the combat system and the materia. Again, they've taken some of the old stuff, added in a few new bits, put in the mechanics of being able to upgrade your weapons. So eventually you can sort of spec out to be a particular magic weapon or a physical weapon. And initially I liked the materia because it was exactly the same, and then I realized there's actually a little bit more nuances to it, and I enjoyed it even more by the end of it. So yeah, all in all.
So on I have played the original so long ago, but I remember that the original you could keep materia on the characters, and then the more they use it, the more they learned how to use it. So they would raise XP for the materia.
Yeah, so materia still got experience points or ability points, so you can max out your materia. In the original, it used to generate a new materia. I think it does that, and I can't remember that. There's not as much materia that I remember. They've added some new stuff, but the way that you can pair stuff up, so it might be, for example, restore, rather than the all materia, so you cure all of your party, you actually connect that to, I think it's synergy. So whatever's connected, it will do all at a reduced rate. So if you did all cure, it would cure yourself first, and then the other two party members at sort of 75%. And then it jumps.
But also with the attacks, because you had fire, then Figara, and then Fira or something. Is that you had that on the old ones?
So same thing. You've got the 3 stages of fire, and obviously, you can attach it with elemental to your weapon or to your armor to absorb or to give that sort of damage. But then there is slightly more complex combos that you can do once you start mastering the material and getting a few more.
I do have one more question, final question on it. What about mini games? Final Fantasy has always been about the mini games. Have we got some cool mini games?
Yeah, so there's a little darts mini game that sort of passes some time. I quite enjoyed that actually. But other than that, there was a couple of other little ones, and it was padding more than anything. It's no Gold Saucer snowboarding or the G-bike arena. Although there is obviously the motorbike scenes. Didn't seem as fun. They're still fun. They still seem really janky, which again is a memory from the old one, and looking back at some videos of like the development techniques and things that went wrong in the original that I didn't actually realize was quite an interesting thing. So yeah, it's still got some of the old, not jank, but it's like the dialogue is a bit, it's still like it's badly translated from the 90s. It's cool, but the voice acting initially I wasn't a massive fan of a couple of the characters, but by the end of it, like Barrett, I really enjoyed his character. The animation of Barrett was a bit solid. Like he is obviously a big guy, but the other characters have got like wind blowing through their hair and things like that, so it gave them a bit more of an animation, whereas Barrett is a bit more just this solid lump of character texture, and I think his coat flaps a little bit, but other than that, he just seemed quite flat in the world compared with the other characters. But yeah, say by the end of it, I really enjoyed it, and I look back on it fondly, going, this is a different game, and I'm okay with that.
I said that was my final question, but I do have another one that you may or may not have the answer. So it's obviously part 1. So
yeah,
does part 2? Do you carry your characters over to part 2? Is that what happens, or what's the deal? What's going to happen there?
I don't know how they would do it as it stands at the minute. I mean, they could probably say they've assumed you've got to the level cap, and then they start the next game from there. But obviously, yeah, you can complete it in 20 hours, or you can complete it in 40 hours, depending on where you finish. So I don't know how they'll carry it on, but I'm sure they'll manage it some way. It would be good to carry on your save and just literally carry on where you left off, but I don't know how they'll be able to integrate that, subject to how they do the second part.
Marius?
I don't think they know how they're going to do that.
No, funnily enough, I did listen to a podcast yesterday, and it was sort of like I don't know if it was a dual interval, but it was Nomura and the other guy, and they're basically one saying one thing, the other saying the other. One of them wants to basically get it done quick and ship off and ship out, and the other one wants to take a bit more time and care. And they've both gone. We don't really know how many games this is going to be, which is a real shame, because obviously they put so much time and care and effort into this first one. I think they don't do that in the second, third, maybe fourth games.
You can settle into another 10, 15 year wait for the next one, I think.
So
I'm okay with that. If they put the same time and care into the second part, the way that they have done the first one, then I'm okay to wait 7 to 10 years. That's fine.
No, that's crazy.
So it's gonna be a madness way.
So Martin is saying on chat that they could do something similar to what they did with Mass Effect, the series, where the choice is carried over, but you always have to kind of respec because of something happening. But that could be a thing. I think on Mass Effect 2, the he gets cloned or something. Spoilers for Mass Effect 2, but your choices, your core choices, are carried over. So, but then again,
there are a couple of choices that you can make throughout certain points of the game, which then dictate some missions. Okay. But I don't feel that would be relevant enough to care what missions I would pass over. Like when I realized that there was missions that I'd missed through choices I'd made, I was like, I didn't feel that I'd missed those decisions, but now I know that there's other paths. I'm like, I'm quite annoyed by that, because I want to find out what those other differences are.
Oh.
But then, as I say, by the second game comes, I'm not going to remember those choices, and they seem so minor, because ultimately they still get to the same outcome of the main story.
Yeah,
it's irrelevant.
Yeah, I think it's crazy that they're doing it this way, but they should have a clear played path. Like, this is the game, and now every year there's a new one coming up. That's the only way to do it properly, because this is crazy. But let's move on. We gave enough time to Final Fantasy VII there. Let's move on to a game that Marius has been playing, which is Yakuza Kiwami? Let's go Kiwami. I don't know. Ben is our resident. Here we go.
I don't know. I listened to a podcast from like two, 3 episodes ago, and you were calling me some sort of vocal racist or something. I don't know where that's come from, but
I certainly
just because I maybe said something with a slight accent once, you've now pegged me as this.
Ben told me the story which he did. He was passing next to the Chinese takeaway, and he went inside and went walk, and he walked out again. So this is Ben told me he did this. So
I've never heard that joke before.
Oh, of course not. Of course not. Yeah, nice one. Yeah, nice one. Yeah, nice one. Right, you anyway. Racist. Right. Let's move on to Yakuza then. You've been playing Yakuza. What do you think, Martin?
Yeah, I absolutely love it. So it was on PS Plus a few months ago. It is a remake of the very first Yakuza game. I've never played the series, really. I think when the first one came out, I maybe played a demo or most likely rented it from Blockbuster or something like that.
Blockbuster.
And for some reason, I never got on with it. I felt it was overly Japanese and a bit weird. I made a massive mistake, man. This game, or certainly this version of it, is phenomenal. It's like a new Shenmue. It's like Shenmue, but updated, a bit more modern, and a bit more, bit less family-friendly version of Shenmue. Obviously, it's a story about Yakuza. You play a sort of up-and-coming Yakuza who's just about to sort of be given promotion in the ranks of the Yakuza, and then he takes the hit for a murder of one of the Yakuza leaders, gets sent to jail, and then it's the story of him sort of coming back and re-establishing himself. in this particular area of Japan after being sort of disbanded from the Yakuza family. I'm absolutely loving the story. I've gone authentic Japanese language with English subs.
Only way to do it.
Yeah. Way to do it. Yeah, like I say, it's very, very reminiscent of Shenmue. The sort of fighting system's quite similar. Like multiple opponents. Like there's a scene where you go to a funeral of a Yakuza leader, and you sort of have to sneak into the funeral without getting spotted. And at the end, they something happens, and you have to escape from everybody. So it's a bit like we were talking about Kill Bill earlier, precast, and it's a bit like the sort of crazy 88 fight in the opera, not the opera, in the tea house. They're just coming at you constantly, in every room you move into there's just freaking enemies coming at you, and you're sort of taking them all on as a one-man destruction squad. And I absolutely loved that. I thought that was brilliant. I mean, it's Japanese as fuck, but I'm embracing that and enjoying that. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a massive mistake that I've not played this before. I think at that Inside Xbox, the 7th one as was announced. Although it looks like they've gone a bit off-piste with that one, and the combat is more like RPG sort of turn-based combat, which is a bit weird. But
they go off-piste with all of them. They're quite different. I think maybe there's a lot of them over the years, and then
there are quite a few. There might have been some sort of side versions, like spin-offs, perhaps. I'm not sure, but there's a distinct danger that I'm going to have to play them all now.
Yeah, wow. That'll be interesting, because that's a lot of game. That's a lot of game.
It is a lot of game. Well, we'll see how I get through this one. If I get to the end of this one, see if I still feel like that. But I think they've also done a remake of the second one. I'm not sure about all of the others. I don't know what their availability is. But yeah, I'm absolutely loving it. It's brilliant. It's filling the Shenmue-shaped hole in my life after playing the third one.
And I understand you can watch porn in this movie as well. In this game, I've seen some stuff on YouTube where there's somebody like, well, not porn, but like you can go and watch TV and put like the dirty channel on as well. I've seen this. Or am I dreaming this?
Very Japanese.
It does sound like a very Japanese Yakuza game thing.
I certainly haven't seen that yet.
He's makes a note. Need to have a look at it later. It's available on Game Pass, I believe. One of them is anyway. I think.
Yes, I think it might be that one. I'm playing it on PlayStation, but yes, I think you're right. It is on Game Pass.
Would I like it?
Yeah, I think you might. I imagine you
probably
use the movies and stuff like that. I think you like a bit of Shenmue.
I do like a bit of Shenmue. Yeah.
Give it a go.
Tell us about the crazy mini games in it. I heard there's quite a lot of random stuff, like shopping trolleys with cats and things like that. I don't know specifically, but I've heard some of them.
I'm more excited about that in a shopping trolley than I am about the porn watching, to be honest. I haven't seen.
Well, might have oversold it. I don't think it's porn. It's more like just naked girls or whatever. But yes.
Kojima level Metal Gear.
That's it. That's more that than a Red Tube. Yes, but I think there's an achievement for watching like 10 hours or something. I heard or something like that, which is just so Japanese. And if Marius has that achievement, we'll know what happened. I think there's an achievement for. I might be dreaming it as well. So all of this could be in my head. That sounds cool. Yeah.
Yes, I haven't seen a cat in a shopping trolley. But there's like slot car racing. Is the main game as a whole, sort of side story scenario around that, which is again bonkersly Japanese. But yeah, that's the only sort of mini game that I've seen.
I think there's one or two particular games that have more crazy side questy things.
Yeah, I'm trying to not do too many of the side quests and stuff, just for a time thing.
Yeah.
It's going to be mostly same mission. Oh, there's a character like that you meet throughout the game. Like right at the start of the game, you meet he's from one of the other Yakuza families, and he always like because originally you're sort of known as the sort of the, I can't remember his name, the dragon of the Dejima clan or something, and this guy's like, oh, I wanna fight you, and you take this stoic approach of, no, I'm not fighting you, and he's like, right, I'm gonna make it my mission, you are gonna fight me, and that's what he does. So he keeps coming up with weird ways to make you fight him and to rile you up into a fight. Again, bonkers Japanese, but it's brilliant, and that's sort of how you hone your skills and build up your sort of dragon style. There's various different styles that you can use it in battle, and that's the way that you build up your style, is by fighting this bloke repeatedly to sort of get back to the level of skill that you were before you went to prison.
It sounds like a Bruce Lee movie almost. Like he doesn't want to fight, and then he fights. You know. In fact, I seem to remember a Bruce Lee movie where he's not fighting, and then somebody pulls his chain off or something, and then he just goes berserk and just kicks the shit out of everyone there, including his own men, I think. So it does sound like very much like a kung fu movie there. And as you can see, guys, Marius is a big kung fu fan. He's actually a black belt. And you see that, what's that called in the back there? The punching, is that a punching machine?
Yeah, wooden dummy.
Wooden dummy, yeah. So you can, which I believe you can actually fight a wooden dummy in Tekken. Am I dreaming this as well, or?
Based on the version of wooden dummies from Jackie Chan movie Shaolin Wooden Men, which is amazing. It's a big legend from Shaolin that they had this hall of wooden dummies that students had to fight if they wanted to leave the table.
Absolutely.
Temple.
That sounds awesome. Right. Okay. So that's you actually sold me on that. Oh, there's some more. Go on.
Huh?
I thought you were going to say something else.
No, I said, no, if you want to leave the table, you just have to put your hand up and ask nicely. You don't have to fight with them.
Yes, just put your hand up. That's all. You've been playing Pac-Man Championship Edition 2. Okay.
I don't know if it still is. This has been given away free on, I think, every platform that it's available on. I'm not sure if it's still available for free or not. I've been playing it on PlayStation. I played the original one. And I'm loving this. I bet there's some
It's really good.
Pac-Man purists that bloody hate it, because it changes a lot about Pac-Man. But I think for the better, it's a better game than the original Pac-Man. I've never been a massive fan of Pac-Man, to be honest with you. So it's different in that the dots around the maze almost show you a path around the maze, so you sort of follow the dots. That's sort of the perfect path through the maze, and there's sort of dormant ghosts that as you pass, they then join on to the other ghosts in the maze, so you end up with this sort of long line of ghosts. And then when you get the power pill, you then have to sort of munch this whole line of ghosts. It's a great sort of score attack game.
It becomes Snake then, doesn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah, a little bit like Snake, I guess. It's one of those sort of games where it's best if you don't blink too much. And like it gets faster and yeah, it's weird. It's a clockwork.
It's proper hectic.
Yeah, it does get hectic, and the music does a good job with that as well. Like the music, various sort of generic sort of drum and bass electronica type tracks that sort of get like the levels start off slower, as does the music, and then it gets faster and more hectic as the level goes on and the speed increases. It gives me a lot of that feeling that I like about things like Resogun and Thumper. It's not quite at that level. It's not going to go down or be in my playlist for as long as those games have and indeed are. But yeah, I am loving it. It's brilliant. I like that cool little mechanic they do as well. Like if you so if you're going to turn right and you press the right input just before the corner, you get a little trail of sparks and you get a little speed boost as you go around the corner, which is cool. And like some of the fruit, you have to chase, instead of being stationary, the fruit starts moving across the maze, so you sort of have to chase the fruit as well. And again, it's one of those, I played through the score attack mode fairly easily, just getting basic sort of rankings. So I think most people can get to the end of the score attack mode, but there's so much scope there if you want to sort of score attack and get the good ratings and stuff like that. And I'm just doing the sort of adventure mode now. Yeah, absolutely love it. If you like sort of arcade games, definite thumbs up, and have a look quick because it might still be available for free.
I'll have a look. I'll see if it's available on the Switch. Sounds like a perfect game for the Switch to have. So if it's available on the Switch, I'm in. But obviously, I'll have a look on Steam as well. That sounds cool. Right, there's only one more game to talk about. I think, if I haven't fucked this up, I don't think I have. Cool. I've been playing Valorant, which is in beta still. Valorant is Riot Games' new game. It's basically, and it's exactly this. It's Counter-Strike meets Overwatch. So you have the Counter-Strike type style game with the shooting and taking objectives. And you have with heroes like in Overwatch. So you can select from a roster of I think it's about 10 heroes, and it's teams of 5 versus 5, and you have your heroes. It's like Overwatch is learning what they all do. The only thing I've noticed with these heroes is that a lot of their abilities are debilitating to the enemy, but to you as well. So a lot of them are like, let's put some smoke there so they cannot see us escape. But then I cannot see where I'm fucking going as well. I think there's some tuning that needs to be done still on the heroes' abilities. They're certainly not as cool as the Overwatch ones are, but the shooting is fun, and it's dialed in. I think it's for the beta. It's already like when I turn and shoot, the expected result is coming out already, which is great. So I think they got the shooting part is there already. Just a bit of tuning with the heroes. But it's one of those games where I started playing it and I was like, yeah, this is not me. And then the more I played it, because I was streaming it, the more I started liking it. The more I started getting into it and into the tactics of because you can the maps you start separated, and the middle is kind of like closed off, and then it opens for everyone, and different tactics of either going to go for killing the whole team or going and planting the bomb, because you're either defending or attacking. So you can either go and plant the bomb or indeed disable it. I started getting into it a bit, and yeah, I think this is a good game. I'm gonna play a bit more of it. But it's still it's in beta still, so I think there's a few things that need to be changed, like the heroes and stuff. But yeah, it's good. Have you guys heard about it at all? Seen it? No,
not at all. Not my thing. So I wouldn't have paid attention. To be honest.
Normally.
The main reason I played it actually was mainly because on Mixer it was like the most streamed game. I'm like, I need to get me some of this. That's the only reason I went into it. And then when I started playing it, like I said, I didn't like it to start with, but I'm starting to like it now. It's not quite. It's not gonna knock my PUBG. Like PUBG is still at the top as my competitive game. I that's the game I like to play for competitiveness. I tried Battlefield 5 online, and my god, I was having no end of issues. Not to mention, I had the ray tracing turned on to max, and this was that, and I was getting like 50 frames only, but like kept dropping from 50 to 40 to 60, and I think I finished the game on like 30 deaths, like 3 kills or something. So yeah, I had a bit of a mare on it, and I'm like, oh, I need to go back into it. So I went back to PUBG, but yeah, but Valorant is, I think it might be there as one of the competitive games I play online, which is quite cool. Yeah, so that was Valorant. So I think that completes the playlist, guys. So should we move on to the next part of the show we like to call Why Don't You? And that's the part of the show where we give a recommendation to maybe a movie to watch, a book to read, or something to do. Let's start with Ben. Ben is saying make a game. Don't tell me you're making a game as well now.
Yes.
Yeah, and I've actually got much further than Marius did. So I've been learning Unreal Engine 4.
Right.
In the last week or so, and yeah, I'm making a game, and it's actually really simple. When you I sat through a couple of YouTube tutorials, and initially it's like, well, bloody hell, there's a lot going on here. But once you realise that essentially a lot of it is drag and drop to begin with, it's actually really, really straightforward. So yeah, I've been making a little level, obviously sculpting the landscape, painting the landscape, painting the foliage, rocks and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, I've been doing it for a couple of hours and watched quite a few hours of sort of helps and YouTube stuff. And there's some really, really good, useful content out there in short little videos. But yeah, all in all, I've been really, really enjoying it. So I don't know what you were making Triangle Ball in, Marius, but presumably it was the actual code.
Well, yes, I was using Unity. So you haven't got to the point in which you're going to need C++ yet?
No, so the idea with Unreal is that you don't need...
Come back to me when you get to that.
Yeah, no, fair enough. But you could actually arguably make a whole game in Unreal without entering a single line of code. And the way that the flowchart works, it's essentially it's drag and drop little nodes, connect them up to the right places, and that then does the code in the back end. So as it stands, I've yet to see any code, but I know it's there if I want to edit it. But for the most part, it's all drag and drop. You do have to have some understanding of what some of the things are, but most of it I've found has just been sort of play around with it. For example, add a texture, and you can have 3 or 4 different layers of that texture, which will give it obviously the roughness, the shininess, things like that. And it is just essentially sliders, which annoyingly you have to kind of create your own sliders within the material. But again, that is just drag and drop, connect the right bits to the right bits. If it doesn't look right, then you've connected it wrong. And then yeah, just sort of adjust the sliders, and that make your water shiny, for example, or your brick texture look.
So Marius's game was an homage to Marble Madness. What is yours an homage to?
I guess I'm going for the Skyrim-esque feel. Obviously not anywhere near that scale. It gives me so much more appreciation for game development, which I already had anyway. But just looking at a level and watching a video, a time lapse of someone creating, a photorealistic landscape, it's actually very straightforward, but it's that painstaking tweaking the rock a few degrees to that angle to make it look natural within the scene, and then obviously
you definitely want your
that
rocks. Otherwise, what?
Sorry.
So you definitely want your rocks to look like rocks. Otherwise, what's the point?
You do. But interestingly, obviously, when they're on the landscape, the shadow, for example, might just look like it is an image on an image. So you have to then obviously play with the specular levels or the ocular occlusion to try and bring out shadows or take shadows away.
Just add ray tracing, real-time ray tracing to it, and you sort it, then it traces them rays. But by the way, when Ben said he has to paint the rocks, in my head straight away I was gonna shout, the rocks need to look like rocks. But I waited for my time, and then you come in and you steal my joke. Never mind.
You don't own that. It's mine.
This is true. This is true. And by the way, hi to Riza on D Live. How's it going? Thanks for joining. We are wrapping things up here, but tune in again in a couple of weeks when we do our next one. Right. So that's your why don't you, Ben? What about you, Adam?
Okay. Before we move on to me, Ben, have you got anything you can share yet, or you will have at a certain point?
I do actually. I have a YouTube video which I just literally drag and dropped. But it's more the evolution of
share your screen. Share your screen to us. Go on.
Sharing it.
Yeah.
Not now because I can't see it. Let's share the link.
Let's do the YouTube. Let's do the YouTube thing then. Yeah, this is great for our normal listeners that listen on podcasts, like fucking wankers.
How about we put it? I'll do it in the end. I'll work
I've been listening for 8 years, you fucking twats, and now you're putting videos on your podcast. They're gonna be thinking. We'll put the link.
I'll dig it out and I'll do it after.
We'll put the link on the podcast description. No problem. So yes, Adam, what's your recommendation?
Right. My recommendation is there's a famous song by the Eagles that says "Take it easy," and I think that's what we got to do now, especially in these really weird times that we're living in. But anytime, whenever you're living, no matter what's going on, just take it easy. Just chill. Not everything's got to be done that day. Not everything's got to be done off that list. Things can wait. You know, if things are still around in whether it's a couple of days or a couple of years, it don't matter. Just pick the bits that you need to do and think about them and be conscious of other people and their lists aren't what your lists are. You know, so just take it easy.
Okay, that's. I mean, I prefer Hotel California, but it doesn't fit with the COVID-19 thing here. So let's go with Take It Easy. I think their best song is by far Hotel California, but I understand the sentiment and I think it's good stuff. I'm sure I'm forgetting something here. Oh yes, Marius, what's your why don't you?
I'm doing a bit of a classic Ben here, and I'm squeezing in a couple. So firstly, last time I watched the newly released movie Rambo: First Blood.
Yeah.
This time I've been watching the brand spanking new movie called The Terminator and its sequel Terminator 2: Judgment Day.
So before you continue there, I literally recently had a conversation about this, yeah, and I think you are one of the people that think that Terminator 1 is better than the second one. Is this still the case, or is?
No, I'd never say it was a better movie, but I think I have more fonder memories of that movie in the time that I saw it and stuff. But no, the second one is objectively the better movie. There's no
Okay.
question.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
I think both of them are absolutely phenomenal. And the second one, Jesus Christ, the special effects are fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, at the time, I remember they were good, but I'm like, Jesus, this was a 1991 movie. And all right, there's a bit of jank there now, but like normally, if you saw like CGI effects from a movie around that time, now they just look awful. But it still looks really, really good. It is so good.
It does. And you know the bike scene on the motorway, and the reason it looks good as well is because there's a part where he jumps off into the motorway, and you see the stunt. You can see it's a stunt double, yeah. But that's the key. It's somebody doing it still. That's why it looks awesome, because somebody's literally jumping down and landing. Which is
another one where the T1000 gets into the truck and he throws the guy out,
yeah,
and the guy was on the floor. Like, that's a proper stunt. That's like Jackie Chan level stunt work. Like,
absolutely, yeah. But the reason it looks great is because it's happening. It's actually been recorded, and yeah, both movies are great, to be fair, but 3-2 especially. Have you seen Dark Fate? Have you seen the latest one?
No, I haven't.
I think it's okay, actually. I think. I mean, it's nowhere near the first two, but it's certainly the best one after the first two, but by a considerable distance as well. Yeah, Dark Fate is good. I watched it in the full HDR goodness and 4K goodness. Martin's saying on chat he really enjoyed Dark Fate as well, but he obviously he's also saying definitely the best one since 1 and 2. Yeah, you should definitely watch it. I think you will enjoy it. It's there's some good stuff in there for sure. Yeah, definitely. And was that it? Or you gonna add something else on? You said you're gonna do a ban. So did you gonna add?
Was remembering stuff. I guess reminiscing would be the better way to say it. But like, so recently on Facebook, there's been a new group started that's general sort of memories and stuff from the school that I went to. So loads of like old photos and stuff going on from when I was back in school. And like, I don't really do photos very much, but it's been great to sort of some of those old faces, and like, I think it's good sometimes to look back and see, think about the past and sort of things that went on, remembering some people that aren't with us anymore, stuff like that, and sort of reconnecting with people that I haven't spoken to for years, even if it is only Facebook. It's great to sort of have some of those conversations again, and like remembering just some of the random shit that like happened at school that like means nothing to anybody else that wasn't there and is complete nonsense, but it is absolutely sort of hilarious for the people that were there. So yeah, my sort of recommendation is to go back, look at some old photos, or speak to somebody that you haven't spoken to since you were at school.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Sorry, I was looking around for in my shelf here at the, if I could see a recommendation because I forgot to do one. So I was like looking around. I'm like, and I'm going with Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. This is the all of the books. I've got a compendium here, but specifically, I'm recommending the first book. If you haven't read the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, it's hilarious. It's extremely well written. And thought-provoking in some ways as well. Just and this, all of, I mean, I've only read the first three, I believe. I've read the other two, but all of them great. And they always change something. So it starts as a radio show, I believe, wasn't it? And then the book, also the book first and the radio show, and the TV show was different as well. Yeah.
Yeah, each version does its own thing, and they add things to the story and change the story quite a lot. And there's completely different stuff in each version of Hitchhiker's Guide. Yeah, it's one of my all-time favorite things.
And I believe the audiobook, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's narrated by Martin Freeman. I want to say, I think either him. Actually, you know what? It's Stephen Fry that narrates it. Actually, I believe, and Stephen Fry is a fucking awesome narrator. Anyway, so the audiobook is great. You can go old-fashioned. I got both anyway. You can go for the book as well. The movie is actually good. Some people say they didn't like the movie. I thought the movie was absolutely fine. You know, I thought it was. I like the robot in it by what's his name?
Marvin, the paranoid android.
That's right. I'm thinking of the actor though. He died like a couple years ago from Die Hard. What's his name? You know what I'm on about. Alan Rickman, yeah, that's it. Yeah, he's awesome. He's awesome as that. So that's my recommendation that I thought about for a long time when I just looked to the side, you know, and grab the random book. But the good thing about my bookshelf is anything I grab randomly, it will be a good recommendation. Where do you go here? There you go. That's Blade Runner. That's also a good recommendation. But I'm not going to just start taking books off my shelf.
Yeah, you can't have two, Bruno. That's not fair.
Oh, okay. You want me to do another one? Okay, let's go with Ready Player One. Cannot do this because it's already been a recommendation before on the podcast, I'm sure. Fucking awesome as well. Right. Before we just start going through all my shelf, let's. I think it's a good time as ever to finish the podcast. Oh, Marius wants to say something. Go on, Marius. You go for it.
I just want to add in a random thing. Have you heard? I think this is right up your street, Bruno. Stallone has confirmed they are indeed working on Demolition Man 2.
Yes.
Oh wow!
So I've recently rewatched Demolition Man. I don't know if did I mention that on last podcast.
Demolition Man quite a few times on this podcast,
but I've watched it within the last 2 or 3 weeks. By the way, Martin is saying on chat, Demolition Man 2. Yes, yeah, absolutely. We couldn't agree more. And it's Office era. There's some things which there's some things that just don't add up anymore. But the core things are still the Rat Burger. If you remember the Rat Burger part, the 3 shelves part. There's a lot to like still on it. And as an action movie, the fight scenes between Wesley Snipes and Stallone are fucking awesome still. You know, and the 90s 90s like cool phrases are all still there. Still a great movie. So I'm. Fuck you, lady.
How can we watch that these days? Because that is a great film. Is it on Netflix or anything like that?
It is not. I obviously have it on Blu-ray, but that's how I watched mine. Yes, by watching it on one of my Blu-rays.
It is on Google or YouTube. So
yes.
I might have to watch that.
We got Pikachu on chat. Hello, Pikachu. Right. What can I say? We are wrapping up things, but thanks for joining. If you know, in a couple of weeks we'll be doing this again, so don't forget to join us then. So yes, the next time we're going to be doing it on the Monkey Tail UK network. So don't forget to go ahead and follow us on Twitch, on Mixer, on DLive, on YouTube. It's all the same name. It's Monkey Tail UK, and we do this every 2 weeks. So if you join us again, then in 2 weeks we'll be here. And we aim to. We're gonna try and do this every time the live stream. Maybe we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I enjoyed it. We had some interaction, which is fantastic. And I think I'm gonna leave it there. That's a goodbye from me. You guys wanna say goodbye?
Goodbye from me.
Don't just put the hands up.
Goodbye.